What's up, guys? We're back with another video where we're taking a look at Cataclysm. We're going to look at some of the crafted gear we can see in Phase 1 of Cataclysm. Now, crafted gear was one of the biggest gold makers for me in Wrath Classic. I made tons of money with entry-level gear in the first phase of Wrath. Mostly selling stuff that's either pre-bis or just good items at level 80, or items that were in the PvP entry-level set. I sold all of these kinds of items, and I made a ton of money doing that. And that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the recipes in Cataclysm that fill sort of the same niche. And gear is pretty much in every version of WoW one of the best things you can sell with professions. It's the thing people are most interested in buying. Getting their characters stronger, as long as it's going to be useful for a long enough time period. So if it's something that they're going to swap out tomorrow, they're probably not going to be willing to pay much. If it's something they're going to keep a little bit longer, then yeah, we're in money. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how Cataclysm gearing works, it's a little bit more simplified compared to Wrath. Now, most items generally are going to have main stat, some amount, which is going to translate into damage for every spec, including casters. And they're going to have some amount of two of the possible secondary stats. So you have critical strike, you have hit, you have mastery, you have the other types of items you can have, or the other types of secondary stats. Obviously, like trinkets and stuff like that still has secondary effects. But generally speaking, they're going to have two secondary stats. They're going to have main stat, and that's going to be sort of the main thing that they have. And all those stats translate into damage directly in some way. Obviously, casters in particular are going to want to be, everyone's going to want to play around the hit cap. But in general, more stats is better. Even though, okay, your spec might prefer mastery over crit, both crit, mastery, haste, all of them are going to provide you with extra damage. So what is the best one, and how much stronger is that than the other options? That's a question that will have to be answered by simming, essentially. And if the item level difference is large enough, then the item with slightly less optimal secondaries is going to come out on top. That's just how it is. So that does mean that we're entering the first stage where we're really going into like item level is king for gear. Item level is better. If something is 10, 15 item levels higher than something else, it's very likely to be better. Very likely to be better. Not guaranteed for sure, but it's likely. That does mean that item level is very important, and that's very important for the items that we're going to craft. Now, there are two sort of types of gearing that we're going to focus on in early Wrath or early Cataclysm gold making. We want to target people who want gear while leveling. As we can see here, there's a bunch of items with less than 85 in required level, including like weapons at level 81. So stuff that people buy while leveling, and then stuff that they buy to gear at max level. And we can see here crafted BOE gear in Cataclysm. It comes on a nice curve. You have a bunch of gear available at level 81. There's a bunch of gear available at level 82. There's a bunch of gear available at level 83, and then we skip up to 85. Now, I'm mostly using the Wowhead database here. This doesn't contain everything, I don't think yet, because like that, I think should be in phase 1, which you can find if you go into a retail and open up the professions and just navigate to the unlearned recipes. But this is sort of the main PvE gear, I think, is what we can find here. Now, the item level 81 gear, this is actually really good. It's item level 316. The highest item level you can get, I think, in Wrath is 286. So we're looking at a 30 item level upgrade at minimum for this stuff. So I think that people might be willing to buy this. They might be willing to buy this. This is a huge upgrade. And that's something that I'm interested in, because most of these level 81 recipes, you can learn these at skill 425. Like if you just go to the Decapitator's Razor, it requires 425 blacksmithing. That means if you have 450 blacksmithing, you can just go and learn this recipe from the trainer, and you can go craft it. So obviously they're not going to be the cheapest. I think we're going to look at like green gear is probably going to be cheaper to craft, but all of these are interesting to craft and just throw on the auction house. Now, obviously, we're all going to be leveling our professions at the same time, so who knows if we might just see the auction house get dumped for everything, or we could see some opportunities to get paid to level your professions, which I've done at some point in some expansions in the past. Whether that turns out to be the case here or something we'll just have to see. Now, the big one money-wise is gearing at max level. And there are mostly... that's actually one of the PvP items, Battle Tome. Nice. That's item level 339. And then we have all this 346 gear. 346 item level, that's the same as heroic dungeon gear. And if we go to any of the recipes here, we'll see that they take Chaos Orbs, which is essentially the new Frozen Orb from Heroic Dungeons. So these will require the items from Heroic Dungeons, but there are a lot of really useful previous gearing choices here. You have weapons for pretty much every class, relics, there's necklaces, there's a bunch of useful items here that we could definitely see people wanting to get if the price is right. And lastly, we have raid item level epics. And these are very interesting. I mean, this is item level 359. So it's raid item level. And the recipes, if we go to the Assassin's Chestplate, for instance, well, if the game is going to load, then we'll see that they require Pristine Hide, Volatiles, and 3 Chaos Orbs. So just 3 Heroics. These are obviously, like, item level wise extremely strong, and I expect these to sell really well. A lot of the item level 200 epics that you could craft in Wrath sold really well, really consistently for a very long time. So these are extremely good. The recipes for the epic gear is mostly from various from vendors, so you buy them from vendors. I think a lot of them are from Twilight Highlands. You need to do the entry-level quest line there, and then you unlock trader vendors that you can trade materials for recipes. But I haven't sussed out all the sources yet. I haven't looked out everything because, well, as we can see here, it's not actually in the Wowhead database yet, so it's just a little bit too much time to check it all. But this one right here, Brundle Chiselgut, this is the Alliance vendor here. You can see here they have blacksmithing plans. This is from the retail version of Wowhead, where you can see they have all the blacksmithing plants, which require either some amount of hardened elementium bars, or Pyrium bars. And here we can also see the PvP items with the vicious Pyrium set. So yeah, there's a lot of gear, a lot of crafted gear. I think crafted gear is going to be really, really strong yet again. I'm very excited to dive into this, and I think it's going to be very important to have all of your crafters ready at 80. And due to where you get these recipes, you will need to level them to 84, so you can do the entry level quests in Twilight Highlands to unlock a lot of these recipes. Although I do suspect it varies a little bit by profession. Now, WoW does still seem to be missing some of the recipes available. At least there's not that many recipes here. And if we go to the retail version of the leatherworking trainer, we can see that there's a lot of recipes here. Of course, a lot of the PvP items, and then the other ones. And yet again, this is a vendor that is in the Twilight Highlands. So this is going to be pretty important getting to 84 for gear crafters. You won't be able to do everything at level 80 or 68. You will have to get access to Twilight Highlands to get the recipes, but once you do, there are a lot of nice recipes to get cracking with. So you want to do some leveling in Cataclysm, and you want to make sure that your armor crafters are already 80 before Cataclysm comes online. Good luck, guys!